Hi and welcome back to my channel, Sunshine Lorena. So today's video is going to be a 24-hour readathon. Now no one is doing anything, it's just me decided to do this to myself, and basically I'm going to be reading Stephen King books for 24 hours. I booked holidays ages ago off work, and well, you know, we are still in a pandemic, so I have nothing to do, so I thought, why not do some reading challenges for myself. And yes, I'm going to be, it's around about 6 o'clock right now. I'm on Sunday evening on the 6th of December. I'm going to be starting at 8 o'clock. Last time, I've only done one 24-hour readathon before, which was a Rory Gilmore one. I'll link. And I started at midnight, and that did not work well for me in terms of like how tired I was. So I'm going to be trying starting at 8 p.m. because in that way I figure I can get a good amount of reading time in before I'll go to sleep, and then I'll get up in the morning early-ish and then just continue reading the entire day, and hopefully that will work better for me. So my original plan for this 24-hour Stephen King readathon was to do it in October, you know, Halloween, he writes horror books, makes sense, right? But then my books didn't arrive in time, so one arrived later than expected. The other one, they sent the wrong book first, so I had to wait for them to get sent through, and then I just didn't have time, and November was crazy with our readathons, so here we are in December doing a Stephen King readathon. The first book, I've got a few that I want to try and get through, and the first one is Carrie, which is the first published Stephen King book. I don't know why I keep saying Stephen King when this is obviously just his books. I got this second hand, and I just love this cover. I really like these like old vintagey Stephen King covers. So yes, this is the first one. It is... Oh. Somebody left their business card from somebody in there, okay. Anyway, it is, yeah, it's quite a short book, it's just over 200 pages, so I should get through this quite quickly. I know Carrie has telekinesis, I can't say that word. She has that. And yes, it's something to do with prom night, and I think something happens. Yeah, I have heard that this is a little bit different than how he writes later on, that there's like reports and things in between. So that'll be quite an interesting first read, and I think I will definitely finish that in these 24 hours. The next one that I have is Misery. Again, second-hand cover, and I just really like it. You can see it's like the typewriter, there's like some trees, and yes, I just love this cover, really love this cover. But yes, Misery focuses on two characters. There is this author, I think he has an accident, and then he's rescued by this woman, Annie Wilkes, isn't it? Why is the name? Yeah, Annie. And she happens to be a nurse, but also his biggest fan of these books he writes, which features a character called Misery, I believe, and he's just written a book where he kills her off. And she's nursing him back to health, but it's like keeping him hostage, and he has to write, I think, books for her or something. That's all I know about this. It sounds really good. I haven't seen the film. It is on Netflix, so after I've read this, I'm going to watch it. My husband says the film's really good, so we'll watch it together once I've read this. I have heard from a lot of people that this is one of their favourite Stephen Kings, so I'm really looking forward to it. Also comes highly recommended. Again, it's not overly long, it's just under 400 pages. I think carrying this, I think I can definitely finish, hopefully. And if I have time, which I don't know if I will, but if I have time, I also have The Shining, and this is actually my first Rainbow King. I don't know if you know this, but there's like a set of published books, I think it came out in 2007, and each spine, like it's different colours, so you make they all make a rainbow. I think there's 42. They're not, some of them are quite expensive now, and cost quite a bit. It just depends, you need to keep looking. I got this off eBay, and at the time actually they'd given me like a £5 off, and it was like £8 something. So honestly, it didn't really cost me that much. But this is the first one, and again, The Shining is one of his well-known works. Not seen the film either, but I have heard that the film differs from the book a bit, so that's fine. So yeah, if I finish the other two, I'm gonna pick this up. So yeah, and I do also have Different Seasons, the collection of novellas from Stephen King. Sorry. Which I read. I've only read The Shawshank Redemption from there, which actually was in my last 24-hour readathon. So I have that as well, so depending on how much time I have, I might squeeze in one of the novellas. That is the only Stephen King I've ever read, so this is like my first proper dive into Stephen King, actually reading his novels and exploring his writing to see if it's something that I enjoy. So I'm looking forward to it. I will come back, check in at 8 o'clock, and yes, let's see how much I can read in the next these 24 hours. Well, I'm hoping carry misery at least. Fingers crossed. It is Monday morning. I am just over halfway through Carrie. So last night I got to page like 122, which meant I had 100 pages left. I'm really enjoying it. Yeah, so there's like little bits of like reports and bits from like books written after the event that happens at prom night. So you ready? You have a sense of what's going to happen, but you don't know exactly. So yeah, it's really good. You actually see, not just from Carrie's perspective, you see other people's points of views and things that they're thinking. Yeah, I feel bad for Carrie. Like, she obviously doesn't have any friends at this high school, and yeah, at the start, that it's really horrible kind of what they did to her at the start. And she like doesn't bother anyone, so she doesn't really deserve kind of the treatment or what's going to happen at prom. I don't know exactly what is, but obviously something's going to set her off in her like telekinetic, still cannot say that word. So yes, I'm going to get on with that, read, and then I'll be able to move on to Misery. But yeah, I'm enjoying it so far. Quite an easy, quick read. Yeah, I'll check in with you a little bit later. So I have just finished Carrie by Stephen King. Again, I don't know why I keep saying Stephen King when this entire video is about reading Stephen King. So this is my first actual Stephen King novel. Like I said, I had read Shawshank Redemption back in August, which is a novella, but this is my first actual King novel, and yeah, I really enjoyed this. I really liked how when it came to prom night, you ended up getting different points of view from different characters, so you kind of got a whole picture of what happened from different people's perspectives, which I really liked. And I quite liked the little clips from articles and books, etc., of obviously after the incident people have written. So yes, I really enjoyed it. I've not quite decided what my rating is. I think it's going to be somewhere between like a 3.5 or 4. I'm not too sure. I won't probably know by the end of the day what I'm going to rate it, but yeah, I really enjoyed it. And I think it was a great King to start with because it's not too long, and it's a good introduction to his writing. It is now 11 o'clock, so I'm going to move on to Misery, and see how far I get with it. I definitely want to try and get it finished today. So I started at 8:25 last night. I took a little bit longer to start than anticipated. I made a roast for dinner. It took longer than expected, and I wanted to tidy up and everything first. So yeah, I started at 8:25. So I have 9 hours and 25 minutes. I should be able to get through Misery in that time, right? I think so. So I'm going to do that. Yeah, and I'll update you in between. It was a little bit sunny this morning, and now it's really cloudy, so I don't know if I'm going to go out at all. I do like to try and go for a walk when the weather is half decent, as it can be in the UK in this time of year, like autumn, winter. Yeah, let's see. I'm going to drink my coffee and start Misery. So it is just after 3. I'm on page 142 of Misery. I thought it would be a good point to kind of catch up, and so you can kind of hear my kind of thoughts and things. So yes, as I think I have mentioned what the book's actually about, but yes, Annie Wilkes found Paul, and she pulled him out. He had a car crash, and she took him back to her house, and then I think it's about 2 weeks that he's kind of unconscious, and she's like taking care of him, and he wakes up, and he finds out that she is his biggest fan. So she has like some really strong medication that she's given him, and she's kind of feeding him soup and nursing him back to health. And you do get a sense that mentally there's something not quite right with her mood swings and everything. And then she'd been waiting for his latest Misery book, which is the character he writes about. And then she gets it, and then she reads it, and then she finds out that he has killed Misery off, and she is not happy about it. Not happy at all. and she like disappears for like ages and leaves him. And then basically, in that time before she finished the Misery book, she'd found his manuscript and didn't finish reading it all, but she was like, oh, it's terrible, like, because it wasn't a Misery book. Basically that's what she reads his books for. And yes, so when she finds out Misery, she makes him burn his manuscript, and he doesn't have a copy, so he knows that new novel is written, he spent 2 years writing, is like gone. And yes, he's basically being forced to write her a Misery book just for her. She doesn't even want it out there in the world, she wants it just for herself. She's going to bind it and everything. She's got him a typewriter, which is why the cover obviously has typewriting keys on it. And yes, he's being forced, and he needs to write a good novel to convince her to get her back from life. And the point I'm at, he's obviously writing it, and actually what I think is really interesting is we are getting a few chapters of the start of the Misery novel, which I wasn't expecting actually. So we'll see how much that's in there, but I am really enjoying it. I like how there's only 2 characters, and also it's all from Paul, the author's perspective, not from Annie Wilkes. So you just see how he sees her, and yeah, no idea how this is gonna, well, I mean I can guess potentially how this may end, but yeah, you don't know what's gonna happen. She obviously lives very remotely, there's snow, quite clearly no one's discovered that his car yet must have been covered in snow because it was in a snowstorm that he had the crash. So yeah, it's really good, and I'm enjoying Stephen King's writing. I think, yeah, I definitely, even though I'm 142 pages in, I think I prefer Misery over Carrie. I don't know what my rating will be yet because I'm not even halfway through. It's like 360-ish pages, and it's just after 3, so I really need to get on with my reading because I really do want to try and finish it in these 24 hours. I got both done, but we shall see. I'm going to do my best. Just going to keep on reading for the next 4 hours or so probably, and then I'll have to make dinner, but I'm gonna keep on it, and I will check in when I go a bit further. But yeah, definitely enjoying it. And yes, I really like the character of Annie Wilkes. I like how she's been created, that I had different aspects to her. Yeah, it's really interesting to read. But yeah, I'll check in with you later. My 24 hours is up. I have 57 pages left. I wish I'd been a little bit quicker, or like I didn't take as many breaks. I need to know what happens now. This is so good. Like, Annie Wilkes is such a great character. I'm definitely going to be reading more Stephen King books. So I'm going to finish this, and I'm going to wrap everything up in the morning. And I might watch the film tonight, let's see. But yeah, I'll tell you everything. It is now Tuesday afternoon, and I finished Misery last night about an hour after my 24 hours. I'm a little bit annoyed that I didn't manage to finish those like last 50 pages in the 24 hours, which is my own fault because my alarm went off and I didn't actually move for like half an hour. And you know, I took like a few breaks during the day, so I probably could have actually managed it, but you know, you can't always win these things. But before I just wrap up on Misery, I decided to give Carrie a 3.5. I did really enjoy it. Quick read. I think it was a great introduction to Stephen King because it's my first actual Stephen King novel. Like I said, I'd only read Shawshank before. So yeah, really good. Yes, I really enjoyed it. And now Misery. Misery. Just wow. Wow. 5 stars. One of my favourites for this year, definitely. This is such a good book. I need to read more Kings. Definitely need to read more Stephen King. And just wow. Annie Wilkes is such a great character. He wrote her so well, and I love the fact that you see her through Paul's eyes all the time. I think it would have been nice maybe to see what she sees in her head, like how she sees things. But excellent. There are some gruesome scenes of things that she does, because she is at points essentially torturing him. She's drugging him or withholding drugs from him, these really strong painkillers, because obviously he has injuries and he should be in a hospital, not in her spare bedroom in the middle of nowhere. But yeah, and I think the great thing is that King also wrote in small things that you could see that, you know, she's insane. That you can see the smaller things as well. It's not just those big gruesome things that happen. There's in those little things where she just has she had some food and stuff on her clothing, and she just didn't notice. And there's at points you can see she's slowly going deeper and deeper into her craziness. It's great ending. I really enjoyed this, honestly. Read this. This is such a good book. I can't believe I hadn't really read King books before this year. Yeah, August was the first small taster I had. So yes, I definitely enjoyed more King books. Obviously I didn't get to The Shining, so that is on my shelves to read, and plus I have the 3 other novellas in different seasons to read as well. But I need to read more books, so if you have read Stephen King's books and you have some recommendations for me, please pop a comment below and let me know. Because yeah, I don't know, I've heard good things about Pet Sematary as well. But yeah, just give me recommendations. I need to read more. I can't believe I never picked them up, because I thought, oh, horror, not my thing, and horror films, definitely not. But these books, so far anyway, I've not read obviously all his books or delved too much into horror, but I quite enjoy them apparently. I need to watch the film. I didn't watch it last night, I was quite tired. I know there's some differences, but it's supposed to be a really good film. And Misery, fantastic. So yes, let me know what's your favourite Stephen King. Thank you for watching this with me and my experience of reading these King's books, and I will hopefully see you in the next one. Bye!